Omicron cases are on the rise, ladies and gentlemen. With countrywide tally topping the 350 mark, the surge in Omicron cases have also triggered fears of a possible third wave, as the new variant is said to be 3 times more transmissible, contagious than the Delta variant. But even as 17 states in the country are in the grip of this super mutant, worrying images of crowded markets are also pouring in. Markets packed with people and shoppers struggling to walk ahead of each other. And another worrying factor is the laxity when it comes to observing COVID-appropriate behavior. With Christmas tomorrow and the New Year around the corner, several states have brought back curbs, while UP and MP have imposed a statewide night curfew. Gujarat has extended night curfew in 8 major cities till December 31st. Maharashtra has also announced 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfews. Uttarakhand mulling all this. But while these curbs are being brought back for the Aam Aadmi, there are no checks on election rallies in poll-bound states. Taking note of this, the Allahabad High Court urged the centre to consider a possible postponing of upcoming state polls, but the centre has put the onus on the Election Commission, while the Samajwadi Party criticized the High Court for making this kind of a suggestion. Restrictions on us, but no self-restraint. That's the mantra politicians seem to be following. So the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight: are polls and not people the priority at this moment? That's the question, and that's the debate. Polls above people, that's the hashtag and the debate coming up.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight is Govt, national spokesperson of the BJP, Vivek Silas, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Zorawar Kalra, founder and managing director of Massive Restaurants. But my first question goes to Dr. Ashok Seth, chairman of Fortis Escorts Heart Institute. And Dr. Ashok Seth, I want to ask you, it's not rocket science anymore with the numbers that are coming in from various parts of Europe, United States, specifically the UK, lakh plus infections per day, that we are heading somewhere towards a third wave. Yet, you know, markets in India are crowded, people have forgotten where their masks are kept. Also, poll rallies are in full swing. But suddenly come in curbs, and these are night curfews. Does COVID not infect people between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. and then, you know, goes on a vacation from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m.? How does the virus work?
So, Navika, I think I'm going to put this into perspective and no debates, just facts. Primarily, what we see in the West is unprecedented, and therefore it's not possibly a third wave in India. It's an inevitable third wave in India. We've always been 2 or 3, a few weeks behind the West, and this is the 4th surge and an unprecedented surge in the West. We know the facts about the virus. It's highly infectious. It perhaps exists far more in our own population than the numbers tell us, and that's for obvious reasons. Genomic testing takes a few days. It's only done in 5% of the people. There's probably far more virus multiple times, and that's also well understood. So there's no ambiguity around that. Actually, we've got to be far more careful, because our peaks are going to happen somewhere in end of January and February, and that's when it's going to affect us. So I think it's an appropriate concern of the Honorable High Court to suggest that super spreader events, and we can call whatever super spreader events that we can actually term it as, but election rallies have actually reminded us of the super spreader events of the past, which led in a way to Delta wave. And also, it's not a great idea for celebrities to be seen exposing themselves. And it's, by the way, it's very difficult in that atmosphere to have COVID appropriate behavior. So let's just understand that. But the question you asked, which is very important, is about this night curfew. I don't want to take the night curfew in isolation. I'm very confused about the night curfew. Perhaps in most of the states, in most of the cities, a night curfew has no meaning apart from the metropolitan states where there's a great nightlife where people go around clubbing and having fun at night and so on and so forth and try to spread it. Otherwise, most people in smaller cities go to sleep by 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. But I think it's a part of the huge other COVID restrictions that come into place along with the night curfew. Night curfew has a very limited impact on the spread of COVID. It's even more important for the other COVID restrictions. For example, I think it's time to stop partying. It's time to stop those outings. It's time to stop gatherings. If we concentrate on that, even if it happens at night, we've done our job. Why stop a person who's returning from work to home to say, you can't actually be going out at 11 to 5? If you want to really do that, it's something like 6 to 9 o'clock next morning that would actually stop to have some impact. But more importantly, aren't we, as a citizen, don't we have to be far more responsible? We being a part of the super spreader events.
It's up to the citizens. But the question I want to ask you, Zorawar Kalra, is that are these night curfews only because governments need to be seen to be doing something? Otherwise, people will say, "Arey, inhone kuch kiya nahi," they paid no attention. So have rallies in the morning and have restrictions at night, so that the virus which travels only at nights will be not infecting people, and during the day the virus is sleeping. Does it work logically like that?
Navika, very good point. It absolutely does not work like that. Let's be all very clear. I think the fact of the matter is that our industry, which is the restaurant industry, has been ransacked. We've been completely beleaguered. The past 2 years have completely, wiped out 30% of the industry, 25% of the entire workforce permanently. So night curfews actually do not help at all. Let me be very clear. Not only do not help, they actually create further problems. The longer you have operating hours, the more you can separate out the reservations. That means fewer people at any given time in any restaurant. So by reducing and compressing the number of hours that you're working, you're actually not helping anything. If you remove dinner, the restaurant industry and the F&B industry in general anyway gets completely ransacked, because 80 to 70% of the entire sales of the restaurant industry happen for dinner. Indians eat out at night. They don't eat out for lunch. So by shutting down the restaurants or places of business beyond, say, about 8, 9 o'clock, you actually might as well shut them down permanently, because what you're doing is effectively removing any sense of business possibility completely. So I think it's very important to take things in a sensible manner. The Omicron virus is definitely very, very contagious, but it's also exhibiting very mild symptoms. And I've been speaking to a lot of doctors because I'm concerned, not just for my business, but for my health and my family's health. And as a citizen of India, I'm concerned in general. The fact is the virus is not very dangerous. It's not increasing mortality. It's not increasing hospitalizations. That does not mean we don't become, that does not mean we forget where our masks are.
Absolutely. Nobody is recommending here that there should not be COVID appropriate behavior. But Vivek Silas, I want to ask you, is the business of elections more important than other business in general? That rallies should continue and only night curfews will solve the infection problems and COVID-19 problems? Vivek Silas?
No, Navika ji, first of all, I should apologize that my headphone. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I would like to apologize that my earphones are not working well today, but I would just like to say that nothing is more important than a person's life in this world, and the government should take all responsibility and all precautions to protect the life of the people. And that is a responsibility not only of the central government, but it's also the responsibility of the state government, that they come out with such ideas that they are able to control the COVID that is going. We are projecting that it's going to come up. We are all anticipating it. So something should be done about it, not like the last time where the government said that we are well prepared, we are doing everything and we are prepared for the second wave. But what happened eventually, we saw in Uttar Pradesh, how things were mismanaged, how people died, how there was shortage of oxygen and shortage of beds. even people from the Bharatiya Janata Party, be the central
that was
minister,
second
be
wave.
Santosh
I'm talking
Gangwar,
about
be
the third wave,
Vivek
Vivek Silas. Do you think polls should be put on hold like the Allahabad, the High Court has said or suggested? Yes or no?
I think the election commission should think about it, and if they feel that something is seriously wrong, they should decide on it.
Gaurav Bhatia, is night curfew the solution, or will we have to go beyond that, talk about booster doses, etc., etc., etc.?
Yes, Navika ji, it's a very good question. And I think
1 minute, the question is to Gaurav Bhatia.
On other debates, they all were talking about the booster doses. They all were talking about the
yes,
booster doses.
I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time, Vivek Silas. Let Gaurav respond to that question. Yes, Gaurav Bhatia.
You know, Dr. Ashok Seth made a very pertinent point that yes, government has the responsibility to act on time, and proactively we have seen Narendra Modi ji and the chief ministers of BJP ruled states are working to ensure that we are well prepared, God forbid if there is a third wave. But the responsibility lies with every political party as well, every citizen of the country. We have to ensure that we are not the transmitters of this Omicron variant. Second, I would say the Election Commission of India under the Constitution, Navika, has a very important responsibility to play, and they will take every measure that is required, and it's a very dynamic situation. So let us hope and pray that, you know, it doesn't worsen from here and we are able to collectively fight this so-called third wave, and it doesn't hurt or infect any citizen of the country.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say one thing. While night curfews might not really solve the problem, all of us, whether we are politicians, whether we run political parties, whether we are involved in election-going states, it doesn't matter. We will have to discipline ourselves, and we will have to follow COVID-appropriate behavior if we have to survive this inevitable third wave which is coming our way. That's where I'd like to leave it for the moment.